Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors. Can't think of too many people who don't like Denzel. Even if he ain't your favorite, you don't hear most people say, I don't like Denzel Washington. But Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors, my favorite actor. Um, in the movie Training Day, in that scene, that famous scene, the King Kong speech, he had a line in there where he said, "Who want to get paid? Who want to get paid?" You remember that? He wanted them to do something wrong or to do something to somebody. It was Jake. Do do something to Jake and you'll get paid. I'll make sure you're set up for life. So the court will be like, who want to get paid? Who want to get paid? And I think that's a question that we could ask many entrepreneurs and business owners, if not 100% of the entrepreneurs and business owners. If you ask them who want to get paid, everybody would raise their hand. And if you ask them, well, who wants to become highly paid? I think you would get two hands raised, and you probably get somebody trying to raise their feet and wiggle some toes to kind of be included in getting that information that would make them highly paid. And you don't have to go after Jake and kill Jake to become highly paid. All you got to do is follow this formula, master this formula that I'm going to share with you. And if you do it right, you give yourself time and be patient with it, you'll find yourself gradually going up the income scale and you'll get to the point where you become highly paid. So that's what we're going to talk about over these next few minutes, the formula to becoming highly paid. So what I want you to do though is click the button below, like it, love it, share it, do all of those different things. If this is your first time seeing me, Brother Bedford, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this information. And more importantly, uh, I think after you hear what it is that I have to share, if you want me to uh, go deeper into these ingredients, because we're not going to spend all day in this video sharing everything that needs to be shared. I'm going to do my best to give you, again, the formula, these ingredients. But then if you want me to unpack these ingredients below the video, go ahead and type in, which specific ingredient or part of the formula that you want me to go a little bit deeper. And then I'll create a video to kind of go deeper into that, because I think for me, this is the most important process for entrepreneurs, and in particular, Black entrepreneurs moving forward through the rest of 2024 into 2025, into 2026 with this new way of doing business, this new, what I call this entrepreneurial revolution that's taking place. I believe this is the most important process that you can focus on to make sure that you not only have a sustainable business, but that it's highly profitable and that you're able to do the things that you are desirous of doing. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, do all of the things at the bottom, share the video. And now I'll go ahead and get into this formula. The first piece, which is critically important because this is the launch pad for everything else. And I think this is the thing that most of us ignore. And that is, you have to develop a mission statement. What is your mission? And I'm not just talking about, when we see mission statements or hear about that with the corporate speak, what is the mission statement for your business and all of those different things. No, I'm talking about, what do you do? What are you excited about? Can you powerfully articulate what it is that you do, how you do it, why you do it, who you do it for, and the value that you add in doing it? And when you're able to articulate that, again, clearly, powerfully, impactfully, and you're able to do that in longer settings, meaning speaking from a stage where you may have 17, 18 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, or if you're just meeting someone and you can have that 2 to 3 minute conversation where you can explain this to them, where you can have a tremendous impact on their lives. Now, what's so important about this is that if you don't have a mission, if you don't have purpose for doing what you're doing, you're not going to excite anybody. You're not going to energize people. So it becomes very difficult, one, to get people engaged with you to eventually buy your products or your services. But on another note, if you're trying to grow and expand your company or your business and you're trying to either hire people or start building a team, nobody wants to join something that you're not even excited about, right? So developing this the right way to make sure that it's interesting, you're sharing your ideas, the concepts, again, your purpose. Some people call this pitching. I don't like that term because it's, everybody's pitching. No, it's a lot deeper than just pitching ideas and concepts where you're just on the surface, touching on some things that you think may appeal to someone else. This is more of an internal type of uh, uh, thing that energizes and excites you. Again, this is your purpose. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough once told me, said, when we begin to ask those two questions, who am I and what am I here for? We truly haven't started living until we do that. So now after you dig deep and you ask yourself, who am I and what am I here for? Now you're digging into, this is my purpose. And now your purpose becomes your mission. And I've been preaching for the past, I don't know, 15, 20 years that you want to build a business or a company around your unique gifts, your unique talents, your unique strengths, your purpose and your passions. You become the center of your universe, and then you build a company or business around that. And that is sustainable. That is sustainable. That will last forever. That is something that you don't dread working on. In fact, it doesn't feel like work. You're doing what you love. You're working in your strengths. You're working in your gifts. And when you're doing that, you're not really working, right? You're doing your work, but it's a joyful work. You're working cheerfully, in quote, something that I once heard on how we should approach our work is to work cheerfully. But most of us, a lot of people that you run into, we dread our work, right? We dread sharing what it is that we do with people, or how we add value to their lives. And so this is a key component. Without this, everything else doesn't work. So that's why I want to drill down on this and make sure that you understand this, that you want to be able to powerfully, impactfully articulate what it is that you do, who you do it for, why you do it, why they should even be interested in you, and how you add and create value. And if you're able to do that, and you need to write this down. That's why I said it's a mission statement. Don't go from the hip. We got to stop, pulling from the hip or swinging from the hip. We have to properly plan what it is that we want to do. So now if you begin to sit down and write out your mission statement and really think through this, don't rush through this. This is not a 5-minute exercise. I'm literally asking you to dig deep and to discover what are your unique talents, gifts, strengths. And then now you analyze that, you examine that, and all of the things that you're weak at. In this world, they tell you to strengthen your weaknesses, and that's okay to a degree, but I want you to focus on your strengths and the things that you are not as good at, or what we would consider possibly your weaknesses. That's when you begin to find other people that this is their strengths, their unique gifts, and this begins to form the perfect partnerships or collaborations. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So the first step, the first ingredient, develop your mission statement. Develop your mission statement. The second ingredient, we have to learn how to create and produce engaging and compelling content. Learn to create and produce engaging and compelling content. You probably say, oh man, Brother Bedford, where am I going to do that? Here's the secret to this, especially if you're north of 40 years old, which most people who listen to me and they're trying to reinvent themselves or get started, they're late 30s, 40s and above. I'm not the young person's entrepreneurial teacher. There's a lot of other people that do that. But if you're north of 40, I would say even 35, but let's just say for the sake of clarity, 40 years old, has given you enough experience, enough work experience, enough life experience, enough relationships to know, or probably not know, but you're standing on a mountain of value. And now that mountain of value that you're standing on, it needs to be mined, it needs to be extracted. All of the diamonds, the golds, the rubies, all of those things that are within your unique experiences and the time that you've spent in your career, your professions, even if you've been bouncing around, now's the time. Now you're at that age to now where you can begin to mine all of this knowledge and information and even relationships that you've accumulated over this time period. And now you learn how to package that. Now you learn how to create and produce engaging and compelling content, something like what we're doing here, right? Video, and you do this through videos, books, and podcasts, blog articles. If one of your strengths is writing, I see people who are very gifted at writing, but since we're in the age of YouTube and all of these things, they're trying to create videos and they're not so good, or they're very hesitant. And I have to remind them that this world has 7 billion people. Not everybody is watching videos and consuming videos. So if your gift is in writing the word or speaking the word and audio and all of those different things, you want to play to your strengths. But all of that needs to come from you creating engaging, meaning that people want to be a part of it. They want to listen to it. They want to lean into what you're saying. Going back to the mission statement, right? These are your ideas, your concepts, the thoughts that you have, the opinions that you have that are attached to your mission and purpose. And then you want to package it and put it out into the marketplace so that now people can begin to gravitate towards you and see who you are. And then align. Hopefully you want to attract the people who are in alignment with your content, your messaging, your mission, your purpose. And this way you're beginning to show that you add value. Now, remember, all of this is before getting paid. All of this is before making the sales. But if you do these first two things and do them properly, hopefully you'll begin to see that now, okay, I'm creating these assets, these digital assets that can be utilized to kind of help you to properly position yourself in the marketplace. This is all what our brother Kevin Hart likes to use this term a lot now. I've been some of the videos that I've seen of him in the past year or so, where he's always constantly using the term IP, right? You know, we all have IP, and he's talking about intellectual property. And so everything that you've been doing in your life, your experiences, your knowledge, your information, the books you've read, all of this is just sitting within inside of you. Now you have to learn how to create intellectual property out of these things. And again, now begin to put it into the marketplace. And you'll begin to see that this begins to shape your positioning in the marketplace. This begins to shape how people view you. Your leadership begins to take on a different shape, right? You begin to come to the forefront. And these are the things that begin to make people want to do business with you and do business with you on a higher level. It's no longer just a transactional thing. They begin to know, like, hopefully, I like to go beyond like. You want people to be fond of you and really, in some cases, love what it is that you stand for. And they want to be a part of it, whether it's as a client or someone assisting you. Here's another sidebar about when you're discovering your passion and you learn how to properly articulate it, as we've discussed already, and you articulate it and share it passionately and impactfully. People who don't necessarily know what their mission or their purpose is, you begin to give them something that they can attach to, because a lot of people are looking or searching. How do I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but now you show up and you deliver and they say, man, I want to do something like that. Maybe I need to help him or her, or maybe they have some ideas that they can share, or maybe they want to become a client of yours. This is how this process begins to start. So again, you're standing on a mountain of value. You have a ton of intellectual property. You just got to learn how to mine it out of you, right? It works to be in a setting, a community of like-minded people who can help you with this and have these conversations, because sometimes your family can't always pinpoint, some people who are in your close circle, they may not always be able to pinpoint your gifts and your strengths and help you to pull out of you the IP that's necessary to create engaging and compelling content. So you got to start finding people who think like this and who can help you. And you'll find when you're around those type of people, it becomes easier. So where you're struggling to find out what it is that you can put out, all it takes is being around the right person or the right persons, and you'll find that you can begin to create engaging and compelling content in a matter of minutes without much effort on your part. Because the beautiful part about what we've discussed so far is that all of these things are already within you. They just need to be extracted. You don't have to go searching. You don't have to go looking. You don't have to take another course. You don't even have to read another book. You don't have to do none of that. Now's the time to sit down and reflect and look inward so that you can begin to build the life, the entrepreneurial business or company that is best suited for you, instead of you chasing all of these shiny objects that everybody is putting before you. So first two things. First, you need to develop your mission statement. Two, you need to begin to create and produce engaging and compelling content that helps to establish your positioning and helps to begin to share your intellectual property. It helps you to begin to develop digital assets. And if you've heard the statement before, income follows assets, right? So again, some of us got it backwards. We're chasing the income and we don't have the assets or the things that could attract the income to us. And so those are the first two ingredients or the first two pieces or components of the formula for becoming highly paid. So let's move on to the third, which is closely linked to that second one. Because as you learn to develop your IP to create engaging and compelling content and messaging to go out into the marketplace so that people can understand your mission and your aim and your purpose and become excited and motivated and energized and want to connect with you. Now you take that same intellectual property, even on a higher level, and now you begin to create and produce a product ecosystem. Right? A way, now that people are becoming attracted to you, now you want to have the products and services that people can partake of or that they can begin to purchase from you. And the reason I say an ecosystem, normally everybody's trying to sell one or two products, and that is what you want to do. So the ecosystem is really just these 4 to 5 products. Some people even call this like a product suite, a suite of your products, but I like to call it an ecosystem because people will begin to gravitate to you as you become the center of your universe, and they'll begin to have interactions with you on different levels. If you think of some of the famous, like Apple, right? They have an ecosystem, right? All of the Apple products and services that they have. You can go BMW, all of these higher priced or premium brand services that we know of. If you really think about them, they have an ecosystem that sometimes the immediate product that you see, and this is what we're getting ready to talk about with this product suite, is not the core product. So there's a product that gains attention. Some people even call these things lead magnets and freebies and things like that. I'm trying to get you, I don't want us to think about this. These should, even the things that introduce people to you on a free level, people should feel that they've gotten so much value from that, whether it's your content that you're putting out, it could be lead magnet, it could be videos, it could be podcasts, but you have to have something of value that people want to engage with you, that their introduction to you leaves them feeling like I've received so much value from this person that I would have paid for that. I should have paid for that, right? And so the product of generating leads, but then there's these transitional products that you should have for having people to come further into your sphere and not be afraid of spending big ticket money with you, because that's how we chase off a lot of people who really want to do business with us. We're trying to sell them premium products and high ticket products, and that's fine. But if you're doing that before they've had any experience with you, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. But more than just a lot of money on the table, you're probably leaving on the table some very valuable and lucrative relationships that could be long-term relationships, but you've chased them off too soon because they won't give you $5,000, $10,000 off the rip, right? At the first sight, right? First time I meet you, you want me to give you 25,000. That's, you're chasing people off. So you need some things to help people to transition to those products or services if you have them. If not, this is really something that you want to focus on, that you need some products that helps to generate great customers and clients. And then after that, you can take them to some more core offerings you should have, like a core product or a service that's a little bit higher on the scale, on the pricing scale. And then, of course, the holy grail of internet is like having some type of recurring revenue or some premium price products for the back end. But most people who buy your recurring revenue, most people who will buy your premium products, they've already experienced you on these other levels that we're talking about, and they know, like, love, and trust you. And they're really just looking for either more hand-holding for you, or they want to be involved with you in a more long-term relationship. And that's really what you want. And so you want to begin to create and develop your product ecosystem. And again, you don't have to do this overnight. This is all a part of the process. And if you do that step 2, or focus on that second ingredient where you're engaging, creating engaging and compelling content, remember the engaging part of that is that you're getting feedback from people. You're learning what type of products to develop. And so you'll slowly begin to develop the right type of products, and know you will not get it right the first time, right? You have to tweak or tinker, as we've been using the term in my mastermind. You got to tinker with your products and services to make sure you get it right. And this is no different than some of the other companies that we've begun to study. You've heard of, Microsoft 1.0, 2.0. There's always iterations and versions of great products and services, but they don't let that stop them by coming out with either the beta or the 1.0 or the 1.5. The same is true with you. Don't get thrown out of whack if your first product or service that you're introducing into the marketplace is not perfect. In fact, there's no such thing as a perfect product. I'll let you know that right now. So you'll learn to be able to create and produce your product ecosystem of quality, high quality products and services. But that is the third ingredient in this really 5 ingredient formula to help you to become highly paid. Right now, at this point, you should be getting paid. As Denzel Washington said, who want to get paid? Now, at this point, you should be getting paid. Now we're moving into the last 2 steps to kind of move this up into you becoming highly paid. And the interesting thing about this 4th ingredient, or this 4th phase, is that if you've done everything that we're talking about up until this point properly, this is already happening. And this is, you're elevating your profile, right? If you're doing everything that we've discussed already, slowly but surely, you're developing a profile where people can see you. What's going to happen now, no matter what you do nowadays, people are going to Google you, right? They're going to look for your profile. And so we're talking about your social media channels, your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube, your LinkedIn. Did I leave something out? Twitter, whatever you're on, whatever your, of course, there's the big, 4 or 5 that we tell people, or that most people should have. Even if you don't live on those sites or those social platforms, which you shouldn't anyway, right? That's not a good thing to do. But even if you're on those platforms and you don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, you should be able to have a profile there that can send people to where you do spend your time. So if you're over on LinkedIn, they should be able to find you on Facebook, but yet you're directing them to LinkedIn, to where you're posting all of your engaging and compelling content for people to absorb, or you're sending them to your YouTube channel so where they can absorb all of your engaging and compelling content. So you're starting to do that, But now at this phase, as I just mentioned, now you want to elevate that, which means now you got to focus on that a whole lot more and be very intentional about these. Make sure that they're clean, they're professional. Make sure you get the right type of graphics or pictures that are present there. And then you want to do all the things necessary in terms of your copy and everything to make sure that it's in alignment with everything that you've already shared in your other areas of your company or your business that you've been talking about. So you want to do that at this point. You want to elevate the profile. You want to make sure that you are what we call Googleable, right? Because somebody's going to Google you and you don't want them, one, to not see anything there. That's like a death sentence. So I've had to consult several clients who are in coaching space and things like this. And they're wondering, man, Brother Bedford, we had such a great conversation and we were close to the close and blah, 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 blah. And it didn't happen. Something happened. Well, they probably Googled you. And if they didn't see anything, and I've had one person say they didn't see anything, or they Google you and they see all types of negativity. They go to your profile and they see some things that are unflattering, right? These are the things that we're not realizing that is stopping us from becoming highly paid because we're not paying attention to it. But that was before you got to this video and your brother Bedford is pulling your coattails saying that now, after we've developed our mission statement and we're clear and we're able to articulate that powerfully and impactfully, now we've taken what we've put in our mission statement, what we've put there using our talents, our strengths, and our gifts to show people how we add and create value for them. Now we're taking that or the other content that we have, and now we're creating engaging and compelling content that now it helps to establish our positioning and give us a platform to begin to speak better, more clearly, more powerfully to our potential clients, customers, and even just those who want to join in on our mission, on our movement, the things that we're doing. Now that we've done that, now we want to start monetizing that and take that same content, but either polished or packaged differently and begin to create our ecosystem. Then now people can begin to exchange dollars or Bitcoin, whatever you charge for your product or service. And then now you're looking at everything that you're doing and you're making sure that you polish up your profile, you elevate that profile so that now people can begin to, when they Google you, they see the pictures, they see your awards, they see your profiles, they see the podcast, they see the books, they see you on Amazon, they see just amazing photographs of you either speaking. So now at this point, you start getting very intentional about the photographs you upload, the pictures that you take, because now people will look at you. Now, here's the thing, as I mentioned, you should be doing this all along because as you're posting the engaging and compelling content, all of that is going on your social media platform. You're sharing that with everyone. At this point, you're probably learning how to use PR properly. So your press releases and all of those different things are beginning to happen at this point. So this, again, should be happening. So this part is not something that is completely new and out of whack, but this is now the time to focus on it and make sure that it's congruent with everything else that you're putting out. So now the last piece or the last ingredient or the last phase, we touched on it earlier, but this is really where the big dollars are, because now as your profile is elevated, your prices, I'm sure at this point, are becoming elevated as well. People want to work with you. Hopefully you're doing this to where now you're creating a demand that where people want to work with you, right? That's really a key, and we'll address that in another video. We don't have time for that today, but most of us are not creating any demand for our services, and so it makes it hard for us. We got more supply than demand. We have to switch that dynamic and learn how to create more demand that we probably don't have enough supply for. When we do that, that's when the prices begin to go up. Your time becomes more valuable. Again, we'll go deeper into that in another video. But now at this point, this is where you really start looking for phenomenal partnerships. All along, you should be developing relationships. You can't do anything without relationships. In fact, my Jekna, my mentor, Dr. Frazier, always talks about you're not even in business if you don't have relationships. In fact, the business that you're really in is in the business of building relationships. So everything that we've talked about thus far should be aiding you in building your relationships. When you're talking about your mission and your purpose and all of that, is to begin to develop and cultivate relationships, and they grow and they become stronger, and hopefully they become some very phenomenal relationships. And so now when you get to this point that you have all of these other ingredients in the mix, now you're not just, you don't just have these phenomenal relationships. Now you begin to look for partnerships and strategic alliances and joint ventures, right? This is where the big bucks are really made, because now you're leveraging either the audiences or the resources or the platforms of other people, and vice versa. So now you have something that you can come to the table with. If you've done everything that we've talked about, now when it's time for you to do collaborations, it's easier to do the collaboration. If you struggle with joint ventures now and collaborations, it's because of all of these other things I'm missing. And we're going to a person, not necessarily creating an opportunity for them. We're actually going to them requesting, and in some cases it comes across even begging and trying to use them because they don't see the value you bring. But if you've built up this platform the way that we've been talking about, now you get to this point. Now the partnerships become a little bit more equal, right? So now you're coming and you're finding partners that have some of the resources that you don't have, but yet you're not coming empty-handed. You're coming with an opportunity for you to grow together. And, we always talk about that mastermind concept, where it's, one mind meeting another mind and it produces another mind. It's the same type of thing when you get into joint ventures and strategic alliances and partnerships, is that you want to come with something that helps to elevate both of you, to create an additional level of value that probably didn't exist without you as partners. And collaborations are so much more smoother, so much easier when the two people who are collaborating don't really need each other. They're literally collaborating for the benefit of something bigger and better and brighter than themselves. And all of their needs are already taken care of. And that's what we're hoping to do with all of those other ingredients, to begin to take care of all of the needs that we have. So when we get to this point, now you become in demand. Now, again, the price is you become highly valued. You become highly valued. You're highly respected. You're highly influential. And as a result of being highly valued, highly respected, highly influential, you become highly paid. So this is the formula to becoming highly paid in any industry, in any niche, in any category. It doesn't matter. This formula can be taken. Doctors can apply this, healthcare professionals, real estate professionals. It doesn't matter. You want to become a person that is respected, influential, and valued in your industry, your niche, your category, whatever it is. And as a result of doing that, doing these things that we've talked about, if you follow these ingredients, the result of that is you becoming highly paid. So this is your brother Bedford. Again, like, love, subscribe, share, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And then, of course, if you want me to unpack any one of these ingredients a little bit more, go ahead and tell me that below the video. So this is your brother Bedford, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.